Definitely did not.
If everybody could please form a semicircle around the main entry here, we'll start getting ready for our ribbon cutting. We've got a few pictures to take before we do that.
All right, let's see what we can do. Here we go. 1, 3, please, for me. 1, 2, and 3. Good. If you guys did it just like that, it's 1, 2, and 3. Good. Let's do that again. Here we go. 3, 1, 2, and 3. Great. Thank you.
About 60 years ago, Congregation Emanu-El and Avath Achim congregation each built a new synagogue. And since the time, as far as I can tell, that maybe the paint dried and people moved in, we've been looking for ways and talking about moving in together. And that's what we're here to celebrate tonight. We did it. We're finally coming together in one building. We're here to celebrate the opening of the Joan S. Beren Wichita Jewish Community Center. The facility and campus have also become home for the Joan Beren Jewish Community School and the Mid-Kansas Jewish Federation, and it's truly a community center where we can be together. I'm Daniel Solomon, and on behalf of the board, I'd like to welcome everyone here to our official grand opening. We've got a wonderful program planned, and we're starting with Havdalah service, so I want to turn it over to Rabbi and Cantor Pepperstone to lead us in Havdalah. Well, we've got a wonderful program planned for this evening. Before we cut the ribbon and go in and also attach the mezuzah, I just want to recognize we have a lot of people here who have been come to join us from our community, from around the country, from around the world, and we have some dignitaries, some distinguished guests, some of our public representatives that I also wanted to recognize here. With us this evening, we have U.S. Representative Ron Estes, Kansas State Representative Susan Estes, Kansas State Senator Renee Erickson, and Wichita Mayor Brandon Whipple. So thank you very much for being with us this evening. Are we cutting? Okay, so we're about to cut the ribbon. Okay, here we go.
There you go.
All right, so you can come in closer. Rabbi Davis is going to attach the mezuzah.
There are different kinds of mezuzot. You can see some of them are beautiful, some are metal, some are glass. The Torah says that we shall write them on the doorposts of your house, but we don't. We don't. What we do is we write the mitzvot, the commandments, on a cloth, on a little scroll. We put the scroll inside a mezuzah case, and then we affix the mezuzah case to the wall. It reminds us that as beautiful as this is, and as important as it is, what's really important is what goes on inside. As beautiful as this facility is, what's really important is what we do inside. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu likboa mezuzah. Amen.
I just have to say, it is so wonderful to have everybody here celebrating this evening. And as I said, we have people coming from our community, from across the country, from around the world. And this is such a special event. I want to thank you for being here. You know, a while ago I was talking with someone who's familiar with the struggles of Jewish communities throughout the U.S. We were talking about dwindling numbers of members, difficult financial situations, finding the ability to focus on Judaism rather than leaks and putting a roof over our heads. And, you know, this person asked me, well, how did two Jewish congregations in Wichita, Kansas pull this off? You know, there's a lot of common solutions we all talk about, merging, sharing resources. The challenge is the solutions that make a lot of economic sense are really difficult emotionally, and they create a lot of challenges. How can two congregations come together and preserve their histories and their identities and their futures? It isn't easy, and there isn't a single simple answer. But here's what I said. I think there's three reasons we have been able to get to where we are, and why I think we have a wonderful opportunity and a bright future ahead. First, we've learned from experience. This wasn't our first rodeo. We got a lot of bumps, we've got a lot of bruises, we got a lot of clown makeup. And you know, there's a lot that we've learned along the way. Our two congregations, Ahavat Achim congregation and Congregation Emanu-El, have charged the hill. We've rolled back down a few times over the last 60 years. As I mentioned, we've tried it. When we started down this path most recently, it was 5 years ago. It was 2016. And we knew then, we talked a lot about the compromise that would be required and the collaboration from both congregations. And we learned that part of the solution was to move in together, not to try to merge. Let's preserve the history that we talked about. Let's preserve the traditions. We've also made this a home for the Mid-Kansas Jewish Federation and the Joan Beren Jewish Community School. We've created a bustling campus that is truly a Jewish community center. And this has created an echo effect for us that has really made things stronger, and we're seeing it already. So that's the first thing, it's for our experience. The second is we've had tremendous dedication and engagement from the membership of our congregations and the greater Wichita community. And so many of you are here this evening. Not everybody is here this evening, but it is just wonderful to see everybody who has made a contribution in some way, shape, or form here. We unfortunately don't have the time tonight to recognize everybody by name. And we've had a lot of conversations. Did you remember this person? We've remembered. We are so grateful and thankful. But without going by name, what I'd like to do is try to put in perspective some of what our congregations and our community have done. Some of you have served on the board. Some of you have served on the sharing committee that gathered input and sought out advisors to develop the plans to form the WJCC. Many of you, if you're members of Congregation Emanu-El or of Ahavat Achim, have been a part of focus groups or giving feedback, you've voted, you've had your voice and voted on this effort, on the Wichita Jewish Community Center. Some of you have provided resources from your personal or professional networks to help procure supplies or services. Thank you for that. We couldn't have done this without you. Some of you helped raise funds from our congregations, and many of you gave financially in addition to your time. If you're serving now on one of our standing committees for the Wichita Jewish Community Center, you're helping provide leadership on use of the campus, use of the facilities, the ritual space, the kitchens, maintenance, grounds, on security. So many ways that we depend on our community and our congregation. And if you've managed a special project like planning for tonight, or hanging recognition plaques, or installing art, you've given to our effort. And if you've packed or unpacked boxes, if you've thrown away trash, if you've made a trip to the dumpster, if you've made a trip from one of the moving vans, if you screwed in a light bulb, mopped a floor, answered a phone to point out something that needs to be fixed, or offered suggestions with continuous improvements, you've given to this effort. We've started off great and we're not done, but thank you. Tonight is about recognizing all of that. We have a talented and dedicated community of professionals who've given their expertise and their oomph to help establish this campus, and those contributions are just evident and all around us and all that you'll see tonight. That was the second reason. And the third reason, we've been so fortunate to have a benefactor in Joan Beren, who was and is a force in so many ways, particularly within the Wichita Jewish community. Joan saw the enduring vitality of the Wichita Jewish community as part of her legacy. Her children are part of making that legacy, and they've been dedicated to making it a reality. We're so thankful for the gift from the Joan Beren Foundation and the support of Joan's children, Adam, Nancy, Amy, and Julie, all of whom are here this evening with many members of their families, so thank you. The generous gift of the Joan Beren Foundation has enabled our member congregations the ability to focus on pursuing the vision for the Wichita Jewish Community Center that we can all experience now. I also want to acknowledge Adam Beren, who has been a part of the formation of the WJCC effort from the beginning. The idea of wearing different hats has kind of become an inside joke for many of us in this small but very strong Wichita Jewish community. We have to wear many hats. What I want to say is that Adam in this effort has worn many ears. For the Joan Beren Foundation, for both congregations, for Federation, for the Wichita Jewish community, and the community at large. I'd say Adam has listened and worked to ensure that through his mother's legacy, that all of the stakeholders have had a voice. So thank you, Joan, and thank you, Adam, and Amy, and Julie, and Nancy. And thank you to the members of Congregation Emanu-El and Ahavath Achim congregation, and thank you to the Wichita Jewish community. And now I'd like to welcome Mayor Brandon Whipple, who has some words for all of us, and also will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So, thank you.
Well, thank you. Again, my name is Brandon Whipple. I'm the mayor of Wichita, and it is such an honor to be here today. It's an honor for myself, and it's an honor for my wife, Chelsea. So thank you for the invitation. They told me I had a full 5 minutes, and I promise I'm not going to take up a full 5 minutes. I'd rather give my time over to my friend, Rabbi Davis, if that's possible. But we're here to celebrate really this milestone within the Jewish community here in Wichita, of our community coming together under one roof for this incredible Jewish center, the Joan S. Beren Jewish Community Center. And this is a celebration of what I have in my notes of 4 years of hard work, but what I just learned is actually 5 years of hard work. And it's so great to see the results of that with all of us gathered here tonight to celebrate this progress. So as a city, we value our diversity, and we know that here in Wichita, our diversity is our strength. So on behalf of the entire city council, we want to celebrate victories like this with you here in our new community center. So we again just want to pass on those well wishes for my fellow council members. And it's likely that it wasn't easy to pull everyone together into it, as we just heard. It's likely it wasn't easy and that there might be some growing pains moving forward, but I have no doubt that these will outweigh the tremendous benefits of a joint community that a joint community center provides. So I'm excited to see how this will make our Wichita Jewish community continue to thrive here in Wichita. Please know that you have a partner here in City Hall. If there's anything that we can do as a city to be more accommodating, please let us know, and we could again, just want to thank you for letting us be a part of this and for the invitation. And while so many have worked hard to make this day happen, I do want to say a special thank you to the Beren family. From my understanding, without their contributions to the Jewish community, none of this would be possible. So again, thank you to the Beren family. So please enjoy this moment. Congratulations, and thank you again for letting myself and Chelsea be a part of this moment with you. Thank you. Before I get up here, I asked Chelsea, don't let me forget about the Pledge of Allegiance, and that's what. So I would ask folks if you are both willing and able to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, if you would do so at this time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You got a couple extra minutes.
Yeah. Following the pledge, that's a tough one. As some of you may be aware, you may have heard it or read it somewhere, we're in the middle of Hanukkah right now. Did you know that? Generally speaking, we celebrate Hanukkah the way we celebrate most Jewish holidays. We rejoice that a plot to destroy us or destroy our faith was thwarted, and then we eat. Now, there's a little bit more to our holidays than that. For Hanukkah, we have the foods and the games to keep the children and hungry adults happy. But central to the Hanukkah celebration today is the war for religious freedom that our ancestors fought so long ago, and the Chanukiah, the special Hanukkah menorah. The lights of the Chanukiah shine brightly in the dark winter months. They shine proudly. We used to say that we, the Bnei Israel, the children of Israel, must be like the Hanukkah candles. We used to say that like those candles, we should shine brightly, displaying pride in our faith and values and tradition. We used to say that like those candles, we should stand up and illuminate the dark places, bringing warmth and hope and freedom to all of God's creatures. But in truth, it's our children. It is our children who must be those candles. They are the ones who must light the way. They are the ones who must lead the world to a better future. They are the lights of this holiday of freedom. And we, parents and teachers and community leaders, we are the shamash. We are the one light that lights the others. We are the one light responsible to ignite our children's passion for justice, their commitment to equality, and their determination to fight for freedom for whatever community whose freedom is threatened. if they are to burn with the flames of justice, the fires of liberty, and the warm glow of compassion, we, parents and leaders, we must ignite it. We must be the shamash. That must be our purpose and our goal. It's a heavy responsibility, but one which we accept willingly, because we need our children to be that light. And in this new home, inspired by a woman, Aleha Shalom, who lived these values and more, we can see that this place, this base for Judaism and education and community, we see the important role that this place can have. Because our children are our lights, our leaders are the shamash to kindle those lights, and this Jewish Community Center is the match which lights the shamash, that help enable us to inspire our children to light the way for the next generation. How appropriate it is that we dedicate this place on Hanukkah, remembering the dedication of the temple at this season so long ago, and renewing our own dedication to teach our children to live lives of worth and value, as did Joan Beren herself. To teach our kids to shine the way to a more just and compassionate future. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Amen.
Good evening. This evening marks the culmination of a long journey, one begun, as we said, several years ago, as our two congregations came together to begin this new chapter in the life of Wichita's Jewish community. And that's led up to this moment, along with many other moments and milestones along the way. I've been privileged to be here for the past 18 months, to be both a witness and a guide along the way, and it is an honor to be with all of you here tonight. I could not help but notice that this evening coincides with a number of particular moments on the Jewish calendar. Of course, tonight we celebrate the 7th night of Hanukkah, a festival of rededication, and so we too dedicate the Joan S. Beren Wichita Jewish Community Center in her memory tonight, and all of the various rooms and spaces therein. It's also the beginning of the month Tevet. Tonight is Rosh Chodesh Tevet, the second day, the month in which the hours of daylight begin again to lengthen as we move through the darkness of winter and towards eventually the spring, the season of new growth and redemption. And there's also a third small moment on the Jewish calendar that begins this very moment, which is a very small change and one blessing in the middle of the Amidah, our central prayer. In the blessing about the year, which focuses on produce in the coming year, that it be a year of good produce. Since Passover, we have been saying the following: bless this year for us, along with all its various produce for goodness, Adonai our God, and grant blessing upon the surface of the earth, beginning right now. Like, this is actually when the change happens. Many of our prayer books change that to bless this year for us, along with all its various produce for goodness, Adonai our God, and grant dew and rain for blessing upon the surface of the earth. That's a very small change. Why do it now? Well, the date for beginning to pray for rain in the land of Israel derives from a discussion in the Talmud that I will not share all of with you, where Rabbi Hanina says that in the diaspora, we should begin to pray for rain only 60 days after the autumnal equinox, because by that time, everyone, even those who travel slowly, would have arrived at home after Sukkot, our fall festival, with the roads still dry. So this is a moment of rededication, a moment of moving closer to redemption. And the Siddur says this is also the moment of the conclusion of a long journey home, a long journey to this new home for our two congregations, our federation, and our school. It is now the central address of Jewish life in Wichita, Kansas. In the various prayer books of the Jewish people, the Spanish-Portuguese one offers a very rich version of the blessing for this year, which begins tonight, and I offer it for this moment of dedication and redemption and homecoming. Bless this year for us, along with all of its various produce which we have produced to make this happen for goodness, eternal one our God, and grant replenishing dew and nourishing rain for blessing upon the entire surface of the earth, and soak the surface of our world, and satisfy the world with your goodness, and fill our hands with your blessings and the richness of the gifts of your hands. Guard and save this year from any bad thing and from any sort of destruction and from any sort of punishment, and grant it hope and goodness and a peaceful conclusion. Be kind and compassionate to this year and to it and all of its produce and all of its fruits, and bless it with the rain of favor, of blessing and offering to God. And let this year close with life, bounty, and peace, like the best years of blessing. For you are the God who is good and who does good and who blesses our years. Bountiful are you, eternal one, who blesses the years. And let us say, Amen.
So we have a video, a memory video that we're going to show now. I think on that, I'm pretty sure it's going to be there.
הנה בא השלום, הוא יצא לדרכו שלשום, הוא קרוב, הוא קרב כל יום. הנה בא השלום, הוא אלוף הסמים, הוא הולך וזולף סמים, לקולות חלומות קמים, ונושמים ונושמים. קריאתו כבר מתקבלת, הנה הוא דופק בצד, הוא לא יוותר עכשיו. הנה בא השלום, הוא יצא לדרכו שלשום, הוא קרוב, הוא קרב כל יום. הנה בא השלום, הוא עולה מן הים, הוא יורד מפסגת ההר, הוא נישא וברוח שר, הן אפשר, הן אפשר. קריאתו כבר מתקבלת,
I came to Wichita with Joan, and my oldest daughter Nancy was 1 year old in 1952. We even had a delicatessen in those days on Douglas, where you could go in and get a sandwich or get meat for serving at home. And I was fortunate at that time, from 1959 to 1962, to be president of the congregation. And by the time 1962 rolled around, we were just about done. As I remember, it was about May of 1962 that we dedicated the synagogue and had quite a gala weekend, and that we put together with the help of, it seems like everybody in the congregation participated in one way or another.
When we came to Wichita, Buzz was going to work for the Wichita Clinic as a dermatologist. I volunteered as much as I could with the Jewish community, having 3 children under the age of 4, which was challenging. Ray and Bernice Steckel were shirt-tail relatives of mine through my sister's marriage, and they introduced us to everybody, especially people at Hebrew Congregation, which is where they were for many years. And through them, we became very friendly with Rabbi Abe and Vivian Mann. And that was a long, strong, good friendship that we had for many years until they left town.
We were very successful in Dodge City and Garden City, Kansas during the Depression. But because of Hebrew Congregation, my family wanted to move to Wichita. Hebrew Congregation, when I was growing up, used to have picnics at Watson Park, and they'd have the little kids ride ponies, and the teenage girls would show off the boys, and the boys would play baseball and show off the girls. My family had me for a year listen to a tape, and I did the whole bar mitzvah on tape. When I had my bar mitzvah, the rabbi stood on a box instead of the congregant, because I was 6'4", and I went through my whole bar mitzvah, got finished, went downstairs to where they had the food, took all the brownies off the table, put them in a sack, and we took a bus and went home.
So you skipped the kiddush after your own bar mitzvah because you had just had enough.
I had had enough.
like a scene from a movie that every broken heart knows. We were walking on moonlight and you pulled me close. Split second and you disappeared, and then
I have a lot of memories of Wichita. After all, my whole life has been spent here. I was born here. I had my bar mitzvah here. I remember wearing my three-piece brown suit that my parents bought for me. I remember Mr. Stone's class playing Find the Word with our class. Of course, Cantor Tadelbaum taught me my bar mitzvah. We used to play pool down in my basement, and that was fun. That was the way he got me motivated to study.
Being a Jewish kid from Wichita, you're sort of in a small club,
Yeah.
right? The kids I hung out with, a lot of them were Jewish kids I knew, whether it was from Sunday school or Hebrew school or things we did. Craig Cohen and Ken Ruby and Leah Gross, and then our friends, people we hung out with, the Marcuses, the Baxes down the street.
I can remember the Yom Kippur, that the Yom Kippur War started, and everybody whispering in services. And I went out not quite understanding the totality of the invasion of Israel that day. I was a small boy, I think I was 8, 9 years old. And I went out with the older boys and we sat in, I think, Milton Berger's car, but it could have been Sheldon Berger's car. And we listened to it on the radio. We were listening to the news, trying to get the news of what was happening in Israel. I can remember the high holidays when there was no parking. Every space was needed because we were so vibrant. I remember sitting in services one night and we had put our middle son Ford down in the nursery because he couldn't sit still, and he came up and he had taken a rubber ink stamp and stamped his entire face.
Now I'm seeing my kids experience everything that I experienced. They've got Jewish friends, they've got that they're close with. They've had all the experiences.
My kids had their bar and bat mitzvahs here. Those were wonderful occasions and ones that Ellen and I will treasure forever. And of course, my mom was buried here and her funeral was right here in this building. So a lot of memories. The opening of the Joan Beren Jewish Community School was a tremendous day in our community. Sophie came and sang with the Shabbatones, and that was wonderful for her to come back and give back to our community.
Na na
I'm hopeful that Wichita will have a bright future, that its Jewish community once again thrive, both the Avath Achim congregation and Temple Emanu-El, and that their futures will be bright. And I'll do my best, to, as long as I'm around, to be a part of your achievements for the future. Good luck.
It was a wonderful thing that Joan Beren did when she was able to bring the two congregations together under one roof to see the potential of having the best of both congregations together. I think has been a real blessing and a challenge and a gift to the Jewish people in Wichita. And I'm looking forward to this. I think Dad would be very proud of it. I wish he were there. And I talk to him all the time, but he's always here with us. And I think he would be very happy to know that our community is growing as a community that's going to make Jews in Wichita thrive.
And we can share a building, and I think that we've proved that, and we're going to continue to prove that. We're going to be here with a beautiful building, with wonderful programming by both congregations and the Federation now also. And goal is for this to truly be a Jewish community center. Maybe not with the swimming pool and the workout room, but with everything else. Spiritually, educating your mind. We want to be there, and so we can facilitate that.
My hope, and it's a hope, but I don't think it's a hard one to see happening, is that we can keep growing as a community, just like we have been. And there's less focus on, ironically, for as great of a facility as we have and we've invested in, there's less focus on the building, and there's more focus on the congregations and the community. That's my hope, and I know we'll see that happen. The tremendous amount of time and financial contribution that just everybody from this community has made, it's been huge, and it's exciting for me just to see in every aspect of what we've done, people have been working together. Every step along the way, there's been so much collaboration, cooperation between both of our congregations. The issues fall away pretty quickly, and we've compromised pretty quickly. It's not problems that are insurmountable, it's like they're not even problems when we start talking about them, which is just encouraging.
I think if Mom were sitting here this evening, she would tell all of us, like she did many times, that it's important for us to prioritize Judaism. If we don't do it, nobody else will. I think she would appreciate and be very happy with what is going on this evening, that our community came together, that we pooled our resources, and that we pooled our own energies to come together as a community to make tonight happen. My hope for our community is that we can continue, each one of us, to prioritize Judaism in our lives, that we continue to come together as a community, so that we can look back and say we did all we could to sustain and make possible Jewish life here in Wichita, and with God's help, this and all of us working together, this will happen.
Good luck, Wichita! Good luck, Wichita!
Good luck, Wichita.
Hi, I'm Lacey Rosen.
I'm Stuart Rosen.
I'm Andrea Rosen Forbes. Congratulations on the new Joan Beren Community Center.
Mazel tov on your beautiful new facility.
Good luck, Wichita.
Hello, this is Stephen Rosen. I live in Houston, formerly of Wichita. Congratulations on the new Wichita Jewish Community Center. I think it's wonderful that the two congregations got together finally after all these years. So best of luck and wish you all very well.
Mazel tov, Wichita! Woo!
Mazel tov, Wichita!
Mazel tov, Wichita!
Mazel tov, Wichita.
Mazel tov, Wichita!
Mazel tov, Wichita!
Mazel tov, Wichita.
Mazel tov, Wichita!
Mazel tov, Wichita.
Mazel tov, Wichita, on the grand opening of the WJCC.
Mazel tov, Wichita!
Good luck, Wichita!
Mazel tov, Wichita!
Mazel tov, Wichita, and good luck. And thank you, Joan Beren, and everyone that's worked so hard to bring this together.
Mazel tov, Wichita.
Mazel tov, Wichita!
Mazel tov, Wichita!
Good luck, Wichita!
Jim and I want to send our wishes to the new Joan S. Beren Wichita Jewish Community Center, where all roads lead. A hearty Mazel tov!
Mazel tov, Wichita!
Mazel tov, Wichita!
Mazel tov, Wichita!
Mazel tov, Wichita.
Mazel tov, Wichita!
Mazel tov, Wichita.
Mazel tov, Wichita.
Mazel tov, Wichita.
Mazel tov, Wichita.
Mazel tov, Wichita. Mazel tov, Wichita, Kansas. I'm honored and flattered to have known the Beren family my entire semi-adult life. I think this is a wonderful, wonderful event, and I'm so glad that Tiffany and I can be here.
Mazel tov, Wichita.
Mazel tov, Wichita!
Mazel tov, Wichita.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu v'shavenu kumeinu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ahavat olam Yisrael.
I'm Scott Wagner, and I'm the president of Congregation Emanu-El. Jews have been woven into the very fabric of Wichita since its founding as a settlement in 1865, playing a role in its civic and economic life. Leopold Hayes was the first Jew who settled in Wichita in 1869. He was a trader in buffalo hides and the owner of a livery and saddle business. Wichita was incorporated as a city in 1870, but only 15 years later, Congregation Emanu-El was founded as a Reformed congregation with roughly 30 Jewish families by then. Saul Cohen was a signer of the Wichita Charter in 1868, and in 1879 he became Wichita's first Jewish mayor. Ike Goldsmith opened the city's first bookstore and was one of the founders of Congregation Emanu-El. In the early 1900s, both of our congregations had grown enough to allow for the construction of two synagogues, Hebrew Congregation in 1930 and Congregation Emanu-El in 1932, which still stands as the Wichita Community Theater on the corner of 2nd and Fountain Street in College Hill. As the community continued to grow, Jewish merchant families operated stores along Douglas, while others operated scrap yards on the city's northern side. The Levand family took over the Wichita Beacon newspaper, taking a stand in the face of a strong and vocal local Ku Klux Klan. In the 60s, both of our congregations moved to new buildings, and during those years, there were well over 1,000 Jews in Wichita. Now, if there's one concept in Judaism that we're familiar with, it's that time marches on and Jews manage to flow with it. Change is often hard, both mentally and physically. But there have been some qualities that have been the hallmark of the Jewish people for thousands of years, which have helped us endure. Flexibility, resilience, and existing simultaneously at times with obstinate steadfastness. Our Wichita Jewish community is a testament to this. The population of Jews in this city has fluctuated with economic prospects. At one point, each of our congregations was the religious home of over 200 families. Both of our congregations have many members who are third and fourth generation. Each of our congregations has almost 125 years of history and tradition, much of it overlapping. And today, we remain closely knit and strong. Now, with barely 150 families between us, this moment today has been at least 3 generations in coming. It's the culmination of every good idea all our members have put forth for decades. The creation of the WJCC is the most significant event in the Wichita Jewish community's existence, and we owe it to Joan Beren, who is no doubt looking down on this gathering today and beaming with pride. I maintain that we are not Reform Jews or conservative Jews or traditional Jews or Orthodox Jews. We are Wichita Jews. I don't know what our Jewish community will look like in 10, 20, or even 50 years. But I can tell you this. Thanks to the WJCC, there will be Jews in Wichita. Our community won't look like we look today, just as we've changed over the past 120 plus years. But I know we are better together in this WJCC.
Good evening. I'm Ellen Beren, the president of Avad Achim Congregation. Speaking on behalf of Avad Achim Congregation, which we call AAC, we are thrilled about our new home, our new housemates, and the future of the Wichita Jewish community. Much vision, hard work, time, energy, dollars, and patience made possible the Joan S. Beren Wichita Jewish Community Center. This was truly a community effort driven by the hope of a continued, strong Jewish future for Wichita, Kansas, and the bold task of rising to the challenge and doing what was best for long-term vibrancy. Both AAC and Congregation Emanu-El, CE, have long and cherished legacies in Wichita, and this effort to join together in one physical footprint of Jewish life in Wichita, Kansas was groundbreaking and will now allow us, along with the Mid-Kansas Jewish Federation, MKJF, to be partners in ensuring a thriving Jewish community for many, many years to come. I am so proud of all of us and the way we have come together to dream big, stay positive, take a 50,000-foot approach, and make decisions on what was right and best overall, realizing that we have more in common than differences, and that now more than ever, we need each other to perpetuate Jewish life in Wichita, Kansas. Living together facilitates advancing these same goals because we can more easily partner, coordinate, and lean on each other for support, leadership, volunteers, and participation. We will continue to honor the ways our two congregations may pray or observe differently, and respect when we need to gather separately. But now, as partners and less as competitors, we can find more ways to come together and enjoy all the offerings of our community based on interests and not only on affiliations. Walking into the building and seeing it full of activities and people makes the WJCC a living entity and not just an empty space. Also, as Vice President of the JSB WJCC, and most importantly, as Joan Beren's daughter-in-law, I recognize that Joan's legacy of loving the entire Wichita Jewish community deeply, supporting all offerings, no matter from which organization, and seeing everyone as her fellow community member, not only those from where she prayed. We have made the JSB WJCC her living legacy. I hope we will live up to the Joan Beren way of being a Jew in Wichita, Kansas. Loving intensely and broadly, celebrating joyfully, showing up when required, caring deeply, and remembering most that we are all Jews. We need each other for support, love, and we need to fight for each other. Thank you, everyone, for your generosity shown in many, many ways, both big and small. It is an honor to have been a part of the process and to work alongside all of you to achieve this major milestone. May we appreciate, enjoy, guard, and take advantage of all that is now possible, looking toward the future together, guided by the spirit of Joan Beren. Mazel tov and kol hakavod, everyone. students of the religious school are going to lead us in the blessings to light the menorah. And then we'll sing Maut Sor, and the words will be up there. And then we have one quick song that we want you to sing with us, so just be ready. We'll tell you what it is. Hopefully, maybe you know this version of Ma Tovu we're going to do, where the kids are going to sing it twice through, and then we're going to try it as a round. And I know this is a big risk, so you can help me out here. They're going to start it, and with this side of the room, and then this side of the room. I'll help you. We're going to come in as the second part of the round, and we'll do it a couple times.
Welcome, everyone, and it's so nice to see everyone together this evening for this great and memorable night for our Wichita Jewish community. Thank you all for being here. This evening is a bittersweet one for me. I've been looking forward to, but dreading this evening for the 5 years since Mom passed away in January 2016. Working so much on this WJCC endeavor for the past 5 years has been a way for me to honor and keep Mom's memory alive. I know on the one hand, this evening represents what Mom would have been proud to see in the bright future it represents, but it is likely the last significant memorial to Mom, and I am sad about that. Mom cared about so many people in her life, and especially her beloved Wichita Jewish community. Mom cherished her friendships with all of you. Mom was a great leader, and Wichita was her sorority chapter. She was a very positive person and could see the positive side of everyone. She was a fun person. Throw a party and she would be there. And she certainly would have wanted to be here this evening. Maybe many of you remember some of her famous sayings. Getting old is not for sissies. What I'm getting out of this is how lucky they are to have you. When you're thin, everything looks good. NIT, not in tournament. Why she wanted to be buried closest to the old WSU golf course so golf balls would land on her grave, I will never understand, Elizabeth. I hope that all of us will carry on Mom's tradition of having fun and seeing the positive and lighter sides of life together in our lives and in our Wichita Jewish community. Mom did prioritize Judaism and raised her 4 children to do so as well. I remember when Mom bought 3 seats at a sold-out Wichita Wings soccer game, this goes way back, and placed cut-out cardboard figures of refuseniks, as they were called. She put them in those chairs to remind people that Jews in the former Soviet Union were not allowed to leave their oppression. Many of you participated in the trip to Israel Mom organized and funded, and she funded a permanent endowment at the Federation that now encourages and funds Jews in our own community to visit Israel, the country she loves so much. Mom's influence can be seen in the way her 4 children prioritized Judaism in their lives, and now her grandchildren as well. As many of you in the Jewish community heard her say many times, if we don't take care of and contribute funds to our own Jewish community, who else will? Mom would also quote often this saying from the Talmud that I am paraphrasing. It is every generation's responsibility to plant seeds for a tree to provide shade for the next generation. This is the motto of the Joan Beren Jewish Community School that was so graciously named in her honor after her death. Helping bring the Joan Beren Wichita Jewish Community Center to life has been a labor of love for me, Ellen, and also for my sisters, who also have very fond memories of their lives in Wichita and, of course, of our mother. We know Mom would be very proud by what is going on in our Wichita Jewish community, symbolized by this very special evening, and just wish she could be here to see it. She would be so proud that we came together as a community, we opened our pocketbooks, we're getting along, we're prioritizing Judaism, and we are also having fun. While she's no longer here, and the hard work of the last 5 years is now behind us, as I further reflect, I do know Mom will always be with me and all of you as represented by all the wonderful things the Joan Beren Wichita Jewish Community Center represents and the future she has made possible for our community. Let's commit tonight that this is just the beginning and that our generation will take inspiration from my mom and continue to prioritize Judaism, our own Wichita Jewish community, and plant those important seeds that will carry on Jewish life in Wichita for many years to come. That was the end of that part. Thank you. Thank you very much. I wanted to thank all of those who helped make this evening possible. I especially want to thank the planning committee for this evening, including Julie Fruhoff, Jamie Schmaltz, David Moses, Wynn Ponder, Jamie Smart, and Hannah C. We have spent a lot of time together recently, and I just appreciate everything that all of you did to make tonight possible. And the video, Wynn, thank you, wherever you are, for working on that. We tried our best to get everybody in there. I'm sure we forgot somebody. I'm sorry about that, but don't worry. We're all going to take a video of saying Mazel Tov Wichita at the end here, so you'll all be in the video that we're going to add to the end of it. I want to thank and congratulate the WJCC board, who's worked so hard over the last 2+ years, and plus is a lot of plus, to make this evening possible. Ryan Bendel, David Moses, Ellen Beren, and while not officially on the board, Scott Wagner. So let's give them a round of applause. And last but not least, I especially want to take this opportunity to thank Dan Solomon, who will be stepping down as president of the WJCC at the end of this year. Dan, could you please come up here? Dan Solomon has been a tremendous asset to the Wichita Jewish community, and we owe him a huge debt of gratitude. I don't know if this evening would have been possible without Dan's leadership, his level-headed disposition, his common sense approach, and his tireless efforts to work everything out. Dan has given so much of his time. God, I'm crying at everything now. Dan has given so much of the time and energy to make the WJCC a reality. He is the definition of a mensch. We all enjoyed working with Dan, and I in particular am grateful for what Dan has done for our community. We have spent many hours together over the last 3 years and have gotten to know each other well. I can't thank you enough for your efforts on behalf of the community. You have served the WJCC for 2 years as president and got us off on the right foot. It will be fitting that the president's plaque that we're going to place outside in a few weeks will have your name listed first. Thank you very much, Dan, and here's a token of our appreciation. Dan and Dana, just one more thing. We also wanted to share that the WJCC has made a donation in your and Dana's honor to a food sustainability program in Israel. We know, Dana, that you are a very important part in this whole effort, and we appreciate your willingness to share Dan with us over these years. And we had that in mind when picking this project. Our good friends from Israel, Natan and Yael, who you should meet afterwards, are here from Israel to share this evening with us. And in a moment, they prepared a short video to show what the project does. They can explain it to you in more detail, but essentially this program is called Who Cook Farms. It is a place where impoverished, struggling children in the Galilee come to live, to grow food as part of their kind of rehabilitation process, and then they sell their products farm to market as part of that effort. And their products also go to impoverished families who have a hard time, with food security. So we thought this was a fitting thing that we could do to honor you, Dana and Dan, in what you've done for our community. So please roll the video.
If I were a desert flower, all winter long I'd paint and cower.
If spring would make me sing, my voice would ring as tiny buds begin to bloom. In spring I'd blossom and forget the winter's gloom. If I were a brook of water, kissed by the frost along my borders, spring would make me sing, my voice would ring as I released my icy chains. In spring I'd bubble and forget the winter's rains. I'm only a child of man. I'm only a child of man. Just an innocent child of mine. Don't look so surprised, 'cause my eyes shining glow. It's the sunlight in the skies that is making it so. Don't look so surprised, 'cause my eyes shining glow. It's the sunlight in the skies that is making me so. If I were a joyful songbird, I wander along so cold and somber. Hey, spring would make me sing, my voice would ring like tiny bells on scarves of silk. A song as beautiful and pure as mother's milk. I'm only a child of man. I'm only a child of man. Just an innocent child of mine. Don't look so surprised as my eyes shining.
Wichita Jewish Community Center, thank you for your meaningful donation.
In honor of Dan and Dana Solomon.
It's the sunlight in the skies that is making me so. Don't look so surprised, it's my eyes shining glow. It's the sunlight in the skies that is making it so.
As my sisters know, Mom had 14, as she called them, favorite grandchildren. And we are lucky tonight to have many of them here to celebrate this evening. And those who aren't here, I'm sure most are on video watching. 3 of them have been kind enough to honor their grandmother and our community with a few songs. Please welcome Ben Platt, Sophie Beren, and Henry Platt.
Hello. We're 2 of the grandsons. And I just want to add that I share the S as my middle name, which is Schiff, which was Joan's maiden name, and I'm honored to share that name. And we're going to sing 3 songs for you. The first is secular, Forgive Us, and the other 2 will be in Hebrew.
When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, I could offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When the evening shadows and the stars appear, and there is no one there to dry your tears, I could hold you for a million years to make you feel my love. I know you haven't made your mind up yet, but I would never do you wrong. I've known it from the moment that we met, no doubt in my mind where you belong. I'd go hungry, I'd go black and blue, I'd go crawling down the avenue. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do to make you feel my love. you feel my love. The storms are raging on the rolling sea and on the highway of regret. The winds of change are blowing wild and free. You ain't seen nothing like me yet. I could make you happy, make your dreams come true. Nothing that I wouldn't do. Go to the ends of the earth for you, to make you feel my love, to make you feel my love.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hit the track.
Oh, do Lord Adonai Kito Kile Olam Pasto Kile Olam Pasto Yom Arna Israel Kile Olam Pasto Kile Olam Pasto Yom Runa Beit Aharon Kile Olam Pasto Kile Olam Pasto Yom Runa Irei Adonai Kile Olam Pasto Kile Olam Pasto. Let all who revere God's name now say Kile Olam Pasto. Give thanks to the Lord, for God is good. Kile Olam Pasto. Oh, do Adonai Kito Kile Olam Pasto Kile Olam Pasto.
Thank you.
Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al Kein Adonai Eloheinu V'shoveinu kumeinu Nasiach bechukei ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. אהבת עולם ישראל, עמך תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת. When we lie down, when we rise up, this joy will last forever. When we lie down, when we rise up, this joy will last forever, forever. אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת. Thank you so much.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
This is a wonderful, notable night for the entire Wichita Jewish community, and we represent 6 generations in the community, from Sam and Esther Kamen to Sherman and Ruth Kamen, Harlan and Rita Kamen, Sherry and Keith Alter, Adam and his wife Lane, and his 2 kids Zoe and Riley. 6 generations, and this is a wonderful, notable event for the future of the Jewish community, and we're so thrilled to be here.
This is really the beginning, not the end, of a project, and our family is 5th generation. My grandfather, Sam Zellman, came here from the old country, and after the war, my mother and father, who met after concentration camps, came here, and then my brother and my sister and myself, and my wife and I have had 2 lovely boys who are married, and now they have their own children, our grandchildren, and we can only hope that this is going to be a long, successful marriage between the congregations on a joint campus. And so Mazel Tov, Wichita.
I love it. It's very energetic, so many people here. It's got a very positive vibe.
Did you think this would happen? Did you think we would get to this night, really, ultimately?
I thought we would, but it took a long time. It's been about 20 years for me, because I've lived here for 20 years, but it's obviously a lot longer than that. But it's a great feeling, like Kristen said, so we're happy to be here.
We are very excited tonight because we have both congregations and the Mid-Kansas Jewish Federation under one roof. The roof that build new relationship, new beginnings for a lot of people, for both communities, and hopefully from that moment on, we're going to be doing more things together, moving forward together as Jewish community in Wichita.
The community joining together in one building really is something super, super special. Actually, my great-grandfather was the first president of the synagogue, I believe in 1930. And so that is something that's held very close to our family. So we're just really, really happy that there is one common facility where we can bring our Jewish heritage together. We're all Jews, and right here in Wichita is something that's really special to our family.
But I'm so proud of this community, the Jewish community. And it's going to work. It's going to work. We're becoming good family, good friends.
It feels amazing. So I think what my biggest takeaway is that when you talk about Joan Beren and her legacy, it seems like a bigger thing, but when you mention her name, the table stops, everyone stops with their bossiness or their opinion or their whatever, and everyone starts getting along. It's like you drop a Joan Beren bomb in the playground and everyone starts playing nicely together. And I think that this is such the reflection of that.